Through these community building activities, I've been seeing how much power young people have. Sometimes we underestimate how powerful small but consistent steps can be towards building better communities. I work with people that were originally in gangs, but now they're inspiring young people to become better versions of themselves. And I really want to be that kind of person that can create systems and spaces that really support vulnerable and underserved communities.
Hey guys, welcome to Take a Leap podcast. I'm Neftali Rodriguez.
And I'm Ocean Marshall. Here at Take a Leap, we talk to people of different faiths about how they're trying to change the world.
Today we're talking with Amanda Ong from Calgary about working with young people in interfaith spaces.
But first, let's get to our Man on the Street interviews, where we talk to people about what they think and what they do.
What's your go-to comfort show or movie?
Avatar: Last Airbender.
Are you a fan of the Korra?
Not really.
Yeah, good answer. Korra's terrible.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
New Girl. Definitely Pride and Prejudice.
Older version or newer version?
The older one.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Older one.
Well, the one with Keira Knightley.
Okay, yes. Okay, I was like, wait, you know what?
I'd probably say This Is Us.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Arrested Development.
Kung Fu Panda.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
It depends a lot on what I'm seeking comfort from. I've been obsessed with The Pit recently. Everyone I know has heard all my fan theories about that. I love Great British Bake Off. It's always a good one, very comforting.
Make sure to check out our additional content on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
So let me tell you about Amanda. She works as a researcher at Taraaz Center for Immigrant Research while completing her bachelor's in global development studies at the University of Calgary. She's also a practicing member of the Baha'i faith.
Take a Leap has talked to a Baha'i member before. You can check out episode 8 with Nava about fast fashion. How did you interview with Amanda go, Ocean?
It was great. My camera didn't work, sadly, but she really did great, and I really loved hearing from her.
If you watch the episode on YouTube, we put in a small picture for you every time you ask a question.
Okay, well, that's not nothing. That's good.
So let's hear from Amanda about how her Baha'i faith informs her approach to globalization.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us, Amanda. Our first question is, what is your go-to comfort movie or show?
My go-to comfort show is The Office. I think I've watched it maybe like 10 times by now.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I love The Office. It's so funny. I think mine would be New Girl. I love that show.
Oh, New Girl is so good too. Mm-hmm. I think that would also be my comfort show if it was still on Netflix in Canada.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, I think I'm same. Like mine's also The Office and New Girl, both of them. So can you tell us a little bit about your faith's journey and how it started? So
I'm a Baha'i, and I've been a Baha'i now for about 5 years. And it's been kind of interesting. Like I now reflecting back on kind of my faith journey, I really feel like God was really guiding me towards the Baha'i faith. Like my dad growing up was Christian, and then my mom was Buddhist. So already in my household we had like 2 different religions, and because like my parents had 2 different religions, it was quite personal to them. So they didn't really like actively share that with me. Like I wasn't like forced to pray or do anything. So I grew up thinking I was an atheist throughout like my childhood. But then like all of my friendships I had were with people who were a bit quite like religious. Like growing up I had a best friend who was Muslim, and she would talk about her faith very openly, and I would go to some of her events sometimes. And then in junior high school I had like a very close friend who was Mormon, Ashley. And like same thing, like we would go to church together, I would go to seminary, I would go to, that's what it's called, right? That's from what I remember.
Yeah, seminary.
Yeah. And then like women's group, all these things. I was actually quite involved. But for some reason, like I just didn't feel super connected. And then eventually, like I stumbled upon the Baha'i faith in high school. And it was just like a very random thing. Like I had like this classmate that invited my friend to a youth conference, and then my friend didn't want to go by herself, so she invited me to go along with her. And then I just really ended up like really enjoying it. And I think like one thing that really resonated with me was the community building aspect of the Baha'i faith, that like everyone kind of like has like this outward looking orientation towards like whether you're a Baha'i or not, like we're all kind of contributing to the betterment of the world and like actively taking steps towards that. And then I was like involved in various community building activities since I was 16, and then I became a Baha'i when I was about 19. So yeah, so here.
That's so interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about Baha'is and like just for our listeners who might not know anything about that?
So the Baha'i faith originated in Persia in 1844, and our founder is Baha'u'llah, and essentially the overall aim of the Baha'i faith is the unity of mankind and the unity of religions and the unification of humanity. And Baha'is all over the world are involved in various grassroots community building initiative, really starting locally with their neighborhoods. And kind of that idea is imagine if there are people in every single neighborhood that is thinking about the well-being of their community. Eventually it would kind of reach the whole entire world. That's kind of the way that I approach these activities that I'm engaged in. And the idea is to really learn with everyone, how can we apply the teachings of Baha'u'llah into our lives to better our community socially, materially, and spiritually.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Thank you for explaining that. Can you tell us how your faith has affected your view on the world?
Yeah, my faith has affected my view on the world a lot. I think in the past 5 years, I've completely transformed as a person. Initially when I was younger, I was extremely shy, and I honestly didn't like talking to other people. And I kind of grew up thinking I was an atheist, and I didn't have this broader sense of a purpose in life. My kind of understanding of the world was oh, you go to school, you go to work, and then you maybe have a family, and then you kind of cease to exist when you pass away. But now I have this orientation, I have such a strong sense of purpose that, oh no, all human beings were created noble. We all have a desire to serve our communities, and we all have so much power and capacity to do so. And that has affected everything, to my career choice, the way that I spend my time, to my studies, how I want to have my family. Everything is kind of revolving around this idea of service, of really contributing to the betterment of the world, of helping anyone that I can, and really trying to transform also my inner life, my spiritual, material, and well-being. When I had graduated high school, all I wanted to do was to leave the community that I was in, to leave Calgary. I really felt quite depressed when I was in high school. But then when I got more involved in the community, and I was seeing the transformative power of the Baha'i faith, I kind of see how much hope the faith gives people and how much it was giving me. I actually decided to stay in Calgary and to stay in the neighborhood that I've been living in. I can't even describe how much I've transformed as a person because of the faith.
That's so amazing. I love that. We also believe a lot in service. It changes your outlook on life, truly, when you serve others. And it helps you not just focus on yourself, but focus on other people and how you can help them, which is so good. Can you tell us about what community initiatives are happening in Calgary right now?
I'm currently working with a group of youth that are learning about how they can apply the teachings of Baha'u'llah to their own lives and to the lives of their community. So, for example, I'm helping to support a group of youth that are holding children's classes. So they're thinking about the moral development of children and how they can support them in learning about what does it mean to be generous, what does it mean to be just, how can we show love to one another. So that's one thing that is kind of happening. Another thing is called the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program, and this program is meant for ages 11 to 15, which it can be quite a tumultuous period of life for these guys, where you're kind of learning about who do you want to be as a person. You're kind of you might be confused. You're not a child anymore. You're not just blindly kind of following what adults are telling you. Now you're kind of starting to question is this true? Is this how I want to live my life? And you have so much energy when you're in this age range too. But then sometimes we kind of believe in this period of life, because you have so much energy and you want to channel it somewhere, you can either go down a bad path or a good path. And this program is kind of meant to help guide the younger generation towards a path where we're fostering a desire to contribute to their community, desire to strive for excellence in everything that they do, whether it be at school, in their family life, socially, physically, all these things. Everyone needs a role model in their lives. Because I think at the end of the day, if we think of all of the negative forces and the problems that are afflicting society, I believe that a lot of it can kind of stem down to a lack of education. even like with the youth and the young people that I've been working with, even when we identify like behavioral challenges, for example, a lot of the time the root cause is like a lack of literacy. So we can kind of see that like how powerful education can be, then like we really have to harness it as like a tool to be able to transform communities. So one thing that we have been using too is this process called the Ruhi Institute, which involve like a series of courses that are kind of meant to help people develop the capacity and the skills and the attitude to be able to contribute to the betterment of their communities.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. I also totally believe in the power of education. It's like so amazing. And so I just love that you're working with that. So the next question we have is, do you have any experiences that influenced what you're doing for school right now, like your career goals and your educational goals?
Yeah. Initially, actually, I had applied and I did 2 years of engineering. And quite quickly, I changed to my current degree, which is Global Development Studies. And it was like very interesting. In my program, you're learning about how you can develop the tools to be able to help solve humanity's problems. But then you're not actually learning about what is afflicting society. And I found that disconnect was quite difficult for me. And because of that disconnect, it kind of breeds people that are kind of trying to just develop things. And we can see that in society, that like we have a whole bunch of technology that is great, but then are they actually solving society's problems? Like, for example, social media, which is like it can be like an amazing tool, but in some cases is actually like exacerbated materialism, like self-confidence, like body dysmorphia, mental health challenges. So now I was like really reflecting on like whether or not I feel like I could find a career within engineering where I felt like it could contribute to building a better world. Yeah, I'm not saying that engineering is not important or anything like that, but like for myself, I couldn't see myself finding something that aligned with my values. So now I'm in global development studies, which has been like hugely shaped by my interests. My ultimate aim is to do my master's of social work and become a social worker. My focus would be kind of working with youth and kind of seeing like how I can support them in that way. Because just in like my community building activities that we do, like I work with a lot of disadvantaged youth, and I can see like how much like trauma and just like the day-to-day challenges can really affect them. And I really want to be that kind of person that can create systems and spaces that really support like vulnerable and underserved communities.
Yeah, I think that it's so important to go into something and do something with your life that you truly love. And I think that even if something like sounds interesting or it sounds like, oh, like it could make a lot of money, like if you don't love it, then you'll just be miserable your whole life. I'm just so glad that you found something that you love. So we're just going to take a quick break and ask another fun question. So the question is, what is the best trip you've ever been on?
The best trip? Oh, after high school, I did a 1-month trip to Japan, and it was like the most amazing experience I ever had. And I went with one of my best friends from high school. And the way that we like to travel is that we really like to travel like a local. Like we wanted to, like we kind of avoided all of the touristy spots. And because we did that, like we got to experience such cool things. Like one thing that we were able to do is like we went to this like small town and we went to this restaurant, and it was like a grandma and grandpa kind of restaurant, and they did not speak like any English at all, and like we did not speak any Japanese, but then they let us cook. Like they were like, come, and they taught us how to make, I can't remember what it's called in Japanese, but like that was like such a cool experience.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's so fun. I think my favorite has been, I went to Mexico with my family, and it's just so pretty down there, and I loved that.
That's so nice.
Do you have a place that's on your bucket list that you've been wanting to go?
I went to the Netherlands a few months ago. I went to Europe. That was very nice. I think one place I really want to go to would be Thailand.
That's on mine too. Yeah. That's my next one, Thailand. Sounds amazing. Yes. Okay, so back to the good questions. Do you have any interfaith experiences that have been really important to you?
One thing that we've been doing for the last year and a bit has been these meaningful conversation spaces that have been happening at my university, which has been quite impactful. We kind of alternate like who prepares the material, but we kind of collectively choose a theme that we want to study, like for example, hope. And then some people would make a compilation drawing on quotes from different religions, and we would come together and we'll kind of read them and then we'll discuss them. And sometimes people would also come up with discussion questions that we can look at as well. And those spaces have been very like eye-opening for me, because like one thing as Baha'is we believe in is progressive revelation and like the unity of religions. So progressive revelation is kind of like that idea that God kind of sends a manifestation of God, like Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Baha'u'llah, as like our spiritual teachers that kind of come with specific teachings and principles for the capacity of humanity at that time. Like one analogy is like within like the school system, like you kind of have a principal which can be likened to God, and then within the school you have different teachers and different grades. So like if a student is in grade 1, you won't expect that student to be doing calculus. Like you need a teacher to be able to teach grade 1 math because the student is at that capacity. So then for the same thing for humanity, as we have advanced, like we need a teacher that is able to kind of help us to understand like the principles and the teachings of God according to our capacity. This concept and like the unity of religions, kind of seeing it unfold within this meaningful conversation space where people are kind of discussing different themes, drawing on different religious quotes. You can really see that, oh wow, like in essence, all these religions really are saying the same thing. And that regardless of our backgrounds, we can all contribute positively towards something together. Yeah, so that's been one experience that's been really important for me.
That's so cool. And I loved how you talked about progressive revelation, because that's such an interesting way to look at it, and I've never thought about that before, but it totally makes sense. So I just love that so much. What do you believe about the role that community plays in increasing faith?
I think it can be very easy to feel very alone in life. And like I think like as human beings, we're such social creatures and we desire like connection and belonging so much. And like I feel like faith-based communities can provide such a powerful support in one's life. Like this is quite personal, but in my own personal life, like I'm quite distant from my parents, and we don't have such a great relationship as of now. Like I don't think it'll be that way forever, but just like currently that's not the current situation. But when I was in high school and I became a lot closer to the Baha'i faith and I was like getting to know other Baha'is, I found myself finding my own chosen family. Like I found like brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts, and like mothers and fathers, you know. And I think like that has really helped me. Like I can't imagine like where I would be without those people that really supported me in my life. And we all need support. We all need encouragement. Like I don't think it's like reasonable to think that someone can get through life without anybody and just on their own.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that also like we might not think that community and faith like super connect, but also when you think deeper on it, like they totally do. Like you need people around you to challenge you but also bring you closer to God, which I think is amazing. What do you wish that more people understood about the Baha'i faith?
One thing that I wish more people understood is that like we all have, I think like in like with Mormons, you guys also have this concept of like agency, that we all have agency and we can all be like protagonists within our own communities, whether or not we like believe in religion. I work with like 14, 15-year-olds and they have just like so much immense capacity. And I think like society is constantly telling them, oh, you have to wait until you're older, wait until you get a job, wait until you have money before you can actually contribute to society. Oh, like become a politician before you're able to actually enact change. But like through these community building activities, I've been like seeing like how much power young people have. And I think like sometimes we underestimate how powerful small but consistent steps can be towards building better communities. I work with people that were like originally in gangs, but now they're inspiring young people to become better versions of themselves. I worked with people that have dropped out of school and now they're going back to school, and I can just see how transformative acting and serving one's community, kind of like thinking beyond yourself and like contributing to the betterment of society can have on the community, but also on yourself as an individual.
I think it's so cool that we both believe in agency, and it's just so powerful, and it's amazing. What advice would you give to young people trying to make a difference in the world?
I think one thing is that I like tell myself is that it's okay to learn and to not have everything all figured out. Another message that sometimes is quite prevalent in society is like, you have to wait until you're at a certain point before you can help someone else. But I've been learning that it's okay to actually not be perfect, to not be like 100% there, but then like you'll like eventually get there, and that's okay. As soon as you act to immediately reflect and kind of improve as you go along, and to have this like posture, this humble posture of learning towards things, and be more process oriented rather than outcome oriented.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. As we wrap up, I just have one more question for you, and it's, what habits or practices have helped you grow the most spiritually?
I think the habit of prayer, that's definitely something that I still am working on. Like growing up not really believing in a religion, like prayer has been one of the most difficult things for me, because it feels so like intangible, like it feels like this is actually work. But really maintaining the habit of praying and really relying on God has really helped me to grow as a person. Another concept that we believe in, this is the idea of confirmation, that if we are putting effort towards a noble goal, like God will help us. And I've kind of learned that reliance on God also kind of means that we are expecting his help. We are expecting his confirmations. So kind of moving forward through life with that orientation has been really nice for me. I kind of like to see the way that my life has kind of unfolded. Like I'm kind of just like knocking on doors and seeing which one opens, and God is guiding me towards which door is like the right door. And truly, like in my life, like I have felt so guided.
Thanks to Amanda for speaking with us. That's our show. Take a Leap is produced at BYU Radio by Heidi Clough with additional production by Nick Lovett. And we're your hosts,
Neftali Rodriguez
and Ocean Marshall.